UK.
Home of Africa's youth, the 77%.
Welcome to another edition of the 77%, the platform for Africa's youth, that is you and me, to express ourselves. I'm Eddy Micah Jr. Who owns Africa? Could the second largest continent in the world be owned, actually? My focus today is on China and its growing influence on the African continent. A study by a research lab at the College of William and Mary called AidData found that at least 70% of China's overseas aid was sent to Africa from 2000 to 2014. Now, no matter how you look at it, that's a lot of so-called investment. Take a look at this. This is the European Union headquarters, fully funded and built by Europeans. And then there is the African Union headquarters in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, fully funded and built by, guess who?
Maybe China?
Yeah, you guessed right. China. Are you surprised? Well, it cost $200 million of Chinese state funds and was handed over in 2012. It was considered a gift. But really, is that all for free? So where is our self-sufficiency as a continent? What happened to Africa beyond aid? And why can't we invest in our own regional and continental infrastructures if it means that much to us? I honestly think it's a shame. That's my thoughts. Where is our pride as Africans? Now, I'm not saying that it's a problem to do business with foreign countries, but we should strike better deals for sure. Most of these loans and grants for such infrastructures can put many countries in debt if they are not able to pay back. For example, it was recently revealed that over 70% of Kenya's external bilateral debt is owed to China alone. According to the World Bank, currently 20% of Africa's external debt is owed to China. Well, if we are not careful of the business deals we strike with foreign nations like China, we will eventually be paying a foreign landlord to live in our own continent. So, talking about China's influence in Africa, my colleague Abu-Bakarr Jalloh was in Zambia to, basically research and find out exactly the intensity or extent of their influence in the country. Abu-Bakarr, join me right here.
Thanks for having me, Eddy.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. So, you were there. You went with some sort of perception. Did you come back with the same? What was it?
No, it was absolutely different. The initial perception we have during the research phase was that the Chinese have taken over the Zambian economy. Key institutions that belong to the government had now belong to the Chinese firms. And then when we went there, we realized that the situation is absolutely different, far more complex than that.
But there's massive presence of Chinese.
Oh yeah, the Chinese have like billions of dollars of presence in Zambia. They investing in everything, infrastructure, in mining, you name it, the Chinese are there.
I see. Now, you actually spoke to former Zambian minister, goes by the name Chishimba Kambwili. Let's take a listen to what he said, right?
For instance, you find that most of the monies that loans that they get from China, the money does not hit the Zambian account. It doesn't come to Zambia. They will say we are going to fund a project. They will disperse the money from China and choose a contractor from China. Chinese are not good investors. Neither do they mean well for Africa. Those people to me are not investors, but investors.
Very interesting thoughts from the former minister. Investors instead of investors.
It's interesting. You can we can joke about it as we often do in Africa, but that is a pretty strong statement. It just basically amplifies the sort of anger that the Zambians have over the Chinese presence in Zambia.
I see. Talking about anger or not, you also spoke to ordinary Zambians, okay? So let's find out also. We spoke to 2, 1, 4, and against. What did they have to say?
No, in actual sense, I can't say that I like it to see the Chinese dominating our country. On the expense of our locals, they don't have employment. Many they are looking for employment. I would like to see Chinese to have big companies so that they can employ the locals.
I feel it's a good thing for us to have the Chinese in Zambia. One, let's look at the economic growth of our country. It's all attributed to the Chinese presence. Infrastructure development. the roads that are being built in Osaka. In the long run, it creates employment for us, the youth.
Clearly, some see it as a good thing and some don't. But to most of the young people out there, it's more of an opportunity to get jobs, it seems.
It depends on where you are. If you find yourself in the capital, Osaka, where the Chinese presence are heavily concentrated, especially the young guy you see that we interviewed in the shop, you would say it's a good thing because you benefit from this presence there. But if you find yourself in the areas, like in the mining area, the other guy we interviewed, which in the Copper Belt region, in Kitwe, basically he was dissatisfied with the treatment he gets from his Chinese employers.
Clearly so. Well, we also spoke to Dr. Lucy Corking, who's done extensive research on China's engagement with Africa. She is in South Africa. We basically asked, China is splashing a lot of cash in Africa. What really is the catch?
The Chinese government is looking to secure access to key resources, just like any other country in the world, that will keep their economy going, and also ensuring that they have key political support in terms of good relations and good political influence with other African countries.
So, interesting response there, basically saying that there's more to it, as you basically saying it. It's quite a complicated thing to just look at. It's not cast in stone like that. But we also found out from Dr. Lucy, what should African countries be cautious of in doing business with China?
African governments particularly, because particularly in the early days, most of Chinese dealings with African countries was on a government-to-government basis. African governments have done exceptionally well in terms of their negotiations with their Chinese counterparts. I think what's key to understand is what benefits were negotiated do not necessarily trickle down to the man in the street. And it's important to understand that when we look at how these deals are being negotiated, and we look to holding our governments to account in terms of what is being negotiated and on behalf of whom.
So, seems you enjoyed Zambia. Seems your research went well. You told me you enjoyed some...
They say if you want the best Chinese food, go to Zambia.
Wow, that tells a lot. Well, go and enjoy your Chinese food. Thank you very much. We'll get out of my set now. That was my colleague Abu-Bakarr Jalloh, and from Zambia, sharing his thoughts and experiences with us. So, talking about thoughts and experiences, what are your thoughts on China's growing influence in Africa? Is your country getting the best out of these deals? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking the red button below. Let's grow this family. Thanks for your time. As the Chinese would say in Mandarin, 再见.